white folks, some of them just want to treat you like a little boy and all this other stuff, and just burns you up and makes you mad. And and I just really connected with the film. I thought it was just one of the best movies ever. I mean, I don't really care if it gets an Oscar or not. They can pretend all day like that movie doesn't exist. But I can tell you, we should literally create an award show and give him an award for that. Now, Timothy says the movie was watered down. I didn't feel like it was watered down. I felt like it was well done. I feel like Nate did his best with it. I know it wasn't easy to get the movie made, and white folks didn't pay for the movie. So, that's and that makes sense, right? I mean, I wouldn't expect if I was white, I wouldn't pay for a movie like that either. And I think that we should stop sort of thinking that white people are supposed to pay for everything that we do. They're not your goddamn daddy. They're not your parents. They're some of them, unfortunately, traditionally, their systems sometimes are your enemy, and this is the thing. I mean, sometimes we have to remind ourselves or be reminded that a lot of your traditions that you have as black people in this country in terms of how you look at yourselves, how you look at how you look at your oppressor, how you look at life. A lot of that is tainted. A lot of that comes from the slave tradition. And so I just I was curious about the movie. I was curious about Nate, and I'll tell you, after seeing the movie, I have a lot more respect for Nate. Even though I respected him before, I knew he was a good actor. I know he's done some good film roles, but I did not know he was that good of a filmmaker. And I would just say this: he has my seal of approval. I think everybody should see the movie. I think everybody should support it. I wish it wasn't connected to Fox on any level, because we know the tradition that Fox represents. But I can give him a pass on some of that, in terms of saying, okay, go make your money, black man. It's a good movie. You deserve all the credit in the world. So yeah, Giavoca, I think that's how you pronounce it, is saying it wouldn't have been so real if white people had paid for it. That's true. I mean, if you really want to tell real black stories, you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that. And I think at the end of the day, I connected with it heavily because I saw, a group of black men in the film that were basically trying to do what all of us want to do as black men, or should want to do as black men, which is to preserve your manhood. There's so many factors in the world. Going back to slavery, the goal, the stronger you were as a black man, the more they had to work to try to break you and emasculate you and make you weak, make you a slave to white supremacy. And we have a lot of our strongest black men who are in prison right now, who are in slavery, because they're incarcerated. You have a lot of our strongest black men who are made weak at an early age, so they're working for white supremacists. And so I just know that when I sit and I'm talking about things like getting off the corporate plantation and stuff like that, it made me think about that. It made me think about the doubts I've had and the struggles I've had. Now I'm not Nat Turner on any level. I don't got to go kill nobody in order to make my point, but I do see economic empowerment as a type of warfare that will prepare us to be strong. You got to understand, the reason your oppressors win is because they have better tools, better equipment, better strategy, maybe a little more experience, a little more organization. So the question is, why can't you get those same tools? Why can't you get that same strategy? Why can't you have that same organization? Why can't you make sure your child by the age of 12 knows how to start a business? Why don't you make sure that you find a way to educate your own kids? Don't send your children off to other people to educate your child. That's mistake number one. You're allowing the brainwashing to occur, right? And then number two, don't send your child into a competitive economic system when they're not prepared to compete. That's like dropping somebody into the NFL when they've never seen a football before. They're going to get killed. You're going to get killed. So, at the end of the day, while we got all the corporate media teaching black people how to do the latest dance and how to rap and how to ball and how to play sports and how to floss and stunt and look good, we need to also make sure our children are looking good intellectually. We got to make sure they're the flyest when it comes to economic empowerment. We got to make sure that they got the coldest setup in the world when it comes to being able to educate themselves and come together and empower each other and build their community. So I think that this movie was great. It was the best movie I've ever seen. I mean, I put it right there with Malcolm X and all the other movies because it was so well orchestrated, so well done. Maybe you guys can give me your take But I would tell you what, I think that it'll be something that you will enjoy, and I'm here to. I just want to make sure I support, Nate, and just say, good job, brother. I'm very proud of you for the way you did this movie. I was really happy with what I saw. All right. Well, I gotta go in a minute. I really can't talk too long, but also, if you want to learn more about money and wealth and stuff like that, we do have a new class in the Black Business School called Black Money 101, and it's an introductory class to get you started on your pathway to understanding money and wealth. And I'm gonna continuously add more content to it. You can go to blackmoney101.com. Also, we have a new film out called The Secrets of Black Financial Intelligence, which you can go study at blackfinancialintelligence.com to see the trailer. That's blackfinancialintelligence.com. And then finally, the last thing, we do have a Black History School online at theblackhistoryschool.com. So if you go to theblackhistoryschool.com, we actually have a lot of great classes where we got together with Black experts who teach you stuff that you don't learn in school. Like, for example, all the things that your presidents have done to harm Black people. Donald Trump ain't the first bigot to try to get into the White House. You go all the way back to George Washington, and you find out these people did a lot of things that they will never tell you about because they want you to worship these people who hated you. So ultimately, the jig is up, the truth is out. I can tell you this: if Black people develop our own media outlets where we can talk to each other, if we develop our own economic systems where we support each other economically and understand how all that works, then that will lead into other things in terms of protecting ourselves economically, or physically, etc. Militia, whatever it takes, whatever kind of thing that is. I'll let other people get into the whole security aspect. But at the end of the day, if we sort of make these plans for our kids and sort of prepare them to have an independent mindset, you'd be amazed at what you can do with that. Pamela's asking, is it blackmoney101.com? Yes, Pam. Pam is blackmoney101. Thank you very much. And also, in fact, if you want to follow us or remain connected, you can get a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. You can get that at drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. If you go to drboycewatkins.net and you read this book, you'll see kind of my vision of what I think will really strengthen the future of Black America. You'll see my vision of Black America. Again, it's just one of many, but it's my vision, my perspective in terms of 4 simple things that we can do as families, as communities, as individuals to make our community very, very strong. Maybe not overnight, but maybe in a decade or two, where we're really not just catching up with everybody. We're not just equal with everybody. We're actually ahead of everybody. So anyway, all right. So I'm gonna go. Let me see. Stephanie says, if Nate is the only one making the money, then I will go. Other than that, no, thank you. Maybe you can watch it on bootleg, Stephanie. I'm not telling you to do it, but hey, people do what they're gonna do, and it's better than some of the cooning that we see. I mean, there's plenty of coonery out here. So I think the movie is worth supporting. I'm glad I went to see it. Let's see here. Bishop says, I have the ability to design and create online television networks. Well, then design one, and then start getting some traffic on it and start building it slowly. Don't think you're going to build an empire overnight. The empires are hard to build all at once. Things tend to grow slowly and organically. Like the stuff that we do, we do have. We do reach millions of people every month, and our YouTube channel, I think, it's about 3 million views a month. In fact, I think last month people watched 12 million minutes of content on my YouTube channel. I was very proud of that because that's 12 million minutes of thoughtful content, 12 million minutes of education that Black people are getting. And so while it's not the biggest thing in the world, I do know that we've reached the ability to have an impact on a national level. That's why you know about me, is because we're now able to reach people far and wide, Black people all over the globe, with our own channels. We don't have to ask for nobody's permission. There ain't too many Black outlets out there that can say that if they pissed off every white person on earth, that they could still get their message out there. Nobody can blackball me, whatever. And even Facebook can't destroy us because we've actually got channels that go outside of Facebook. So that was all set up for security reasons. So we're getting there. It took some time. It took, endless amounts of effort, thousands of hours of work. But now, literally, just with YouTube alone, we have 155,000 Black soldiers on the YouTube channel. We have another 1.7 million on Facebook pages, and another 1.3 million with partners that we have. So we have 3 million on Facebook. We're able to reach a few 100,000 on Twitter from different Twitter pages, Twitter channels. We have about 500,000 via email that we're connected to. We have thousands available that we connect to via text message. So we have a lot of different avenues and platforms. And the whole long-term plan of that was to find a way to get a message to black people that wasn't going to be impeded by anybody else. Because if you look back and you look at, history in terms of the way black people were brainwashed, the way the mind control process began, and how it sort of, perpetuated itself, you would find that, that a lot of it came from the fact that we were intimidated by what white people had. We've always been intimidated by that. We wouldn't fight them because they got all the guns and the weapons and the military strategy. We don't try to challenge them economically because they got the economic power and the expertise, right? The media, we can't really push our own message because we feel like they control all the media outlets. So what many of us do, many of us who are just weak and scared or trained to be weak, because that's the thing. Some of us are just too weak to fight. Some of us just can't do it, ain't got the skill, whatever. And you need to get behind the people who really are ready to fight. But then some of you could have been strong enough to fight, but you were made weak because, if I intimidate you and I get you to be afraid of me, then I don't have to prove that I'm stronger than you, right? So psychological warfare is huge. That's why they'll try to abort a black baby before he's born. By the way, Rock, it's not blackwealthbootcamp.com. It's actually the blackwealthbootcamp.com. That's the class that I teach online. So feel free to check out the blackwealthbootcamp.com if you want to join us. And our whole motto is get off the corporate plantation. But here's the thing. So, if you really, you think about it, where was I? Jeez. Yeah. So, the psychological warfare, you see, because a lot of what happens in media, the educational system, the criminal justice system, etc., is designed to break you and to get you to submit yourself to the white supremacist system. All that's designed to really buckle you down very early. Also, from the very beginning, though, there is a continuous orchestrated campaign to just get you to abort your black baby from the beginning. You got people that will tell you, your baby's better off dead than to be born poor. Right? Like, if you're a teen mom and you ain't got no money, just kill the damn baby. Just get rid of the baby and you'll be better off. Well, I don't really know if that's the best solution. That's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. My mother was poor when she was pregnant with me at the age of 16, and I guess maybe they would be happier if Boyce Watkins had never been born. But my mother went ahead and had me, and she gave me to God when I was a baby because she said I can't take care of this baby by myself. And I swear to God, from the time I was young, she used to say that I always felt like you were going to do something special in the world, and that's why I felt like I had to keep you. Now, I don't know if that was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Maybe I heard it and I just believed it, or maybe it happened and it was connected. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, you just think about how many thousands of amazing black people, how many thousands of productive black people who would be out here protesting, who would be out here doing science, who would be out here starting businesses, who would be out here raising families, who would be out here marrying your daughter, who were aborted, who never got a chance to live, who were killed before they were born. And then when your child is born, they send your child to these public schools that destroy your children. These public schools are not built to help your kids. These public schools ruin your children. And every piece of data shows you that. But what they've done is they've convinced you, they've intimidated you into believing that you can't even educate your own baby. And that's insane to me. Nobody knows a child better than the mother. And after the mother is the father. And then after that, what else they do? They intimidate you into believing that you can't provide for yourself economically. So you're scared to go on your own, when really a very simple solution to that economic disparity issue is for us to have a mandate that every child in your family should know how to start a business by the time they're 12 years old. Put them in a little program. We got programs too. We just signed up. Our goal is to get 100,000 black children into some sort of financial program in the next decade. And we just signed up 100 children in Tulsa, Oklahoma into our Black Financial Superstars program, which you can check out at blackfinancialsuperstars.com. If you go to Black Financial Superstars, we've got the beginning curriculum that'll get your child started on the pathway to learning financial literacy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It doesn't cost more than it costs you to go eat lunch at Burger King with your family. Seriously, it's not that much money, but it'll change your child's life for the next 40 years. So I hope that you see it as a worthy investment, because we're not playing on this. This is very, very serious. It's very, very beneficial. I'm going to quit being so serious. Stephanie says she loves the shirt. Thank you. I saw it in Burlington Coat Factory, so I thought I'd be the flyest dude in Burlington today. So I decided to buy this $9 shirt because I traveled to Dallas. I thought I'd only be here for a day, and I only bought a day's worth of clothes, and it turned out I had to stay till Tuesday. So I had to go to Burlington to buy some more clothes. So there you go. So now those of y'all who think that I don't have real life problems, those are some real life problems, but it wasn't really a problem. We just got it done. Now we're going to Tulsa I'm going to meet with Demario Solomon Simmons, who is the attorney in the case of Terrence Crutcher, the black man that was shot unfairly by the cops. We're going to meet Demario, Etan Thomas, the former NBA player, and a guy named Titus. I think it's the first name Titus, the big wrestler, big old dude, real smart guy though, real smart guy, good guy. We're going to talk to these young black boys about survival, about strength, about manhood, things like that. So we're going to Tulsa to do that. Then after that, I got something in Chicago. I don't know much about that. Then we were going to do DC. And I don't know if we can do DC because of some complexities that have come up. But if we can't, I promise you, DC, I'm coming. Also, Detroit. Detroit, though, I got a guy that wants to do Detroit early November. So I think we will be coming to the D. So as soon as that happens, I'll let you know. Let's see. Alicia says reading books on our history is a great option. We need to make sure our kids' literacy game is on point. Read it. Yes, absolutely. I mean, literacy is the most important thing a child can have. If you look at most great black men and women throughout history, slave rebellions from Nat Turner across the board, where did it come from? Somebody snuck and taught that child how to read at an early age. Somebody taught that child how to think critically at an early age. Somebody taught that child how to have high standards at an early age. Next thing you know, they're out here changing the world. So what you got to understand is ask yourself, what standards am I setting for my child? How much am I pushing my child to be intellectual? How much am I pushing my child to get ahead of the curve? How much am I pushing my child to gain skills that will help him or her to survive? And if you do those things, then your children will be ready to compete. Lavette is asking, do I ever come to Cincinnati? Usually if I'm driving through the city, I ain't gonna lie, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, but I'll try to do something in Cincy. Cincy's such a weird city. I mean, y'all got some black folks that still think it's 1822 in that city. Cincinnati's an interesting place, but then you got the police that just love shooting black people in Cincinnati. So I will make something happen in Cincinnati. I just sometimes I just go where I'm invited, but then sometimes we pick cities to go to. So I think the cities that we pick, Cincy might have to be further down the list because there's a few other big places we still have to go. But we'll do something in Cincinnati. I mean, I like Cincinnati. Ain't no bias against the city. So anyway, I'm about to go. Don't forget, you can check out the blackhistoryschool.com to see what's up over there. We have that class, Heads of Hate, instead of Heads of State. Heads of Hate, which has a series of 30 videos of different pieces of information you should know, lectures about former presidents and all the horrible things they've done to black people throughout time, starting with George Washington. We pulling the wool off everybody's forehead. We are exposing the whole game in terms of everything that you've been lied to about. And just so you know, we actually have big plans now. In about maybe 4 to 5 months, we're going to make a big announcement where we're actually going to start educating elementary school children utilizing technology to get it done right. Right now, I've got a team of African American educational experts who love black people, and I commissioned this group of talented black people to write a report led by Dr. Tyra Selden. They're going to write a report on how we can lay out an infrastructure to educate lots and lots of black children. And I want to use technology to create affordability as well as scalability. You don't have to raise millions of dollars to go build a brick and mortar school. What we actually believe you can do is use something called blended learning, or something they're also using in Silicon Valley, where the children can actually learn from home, just like their parents can work from home. Because we're trying to get you off the corporate plantation. We're trying to get your child out of that educational plantation. And so they can work from home with our educational experts every day and be educated in a righteous and meaningful way. So the first year, we're going to only accept maybe about 50 children as a pilot. So maybe when we're ready, your child can apply if you'd like them to join or something like that. And then after the first year, we're going to take notes, look at the data, see what the success rate was, and then we're going to flip it and increase the number of kids. And what I want to do at some point is I literally want us to be able to say we're educating 10, 20, 30,000 black children every year across the nation in a low-cost framework that allows them to get everything that they need. So that's something that we're working on now. I'm really excited about that, and that's just one of many things that we're trying to do. And the All Black National Convention was kind of just the beginning. There's so many things we have going on, and I'm really excited because I know that we can do all these things. I've thought it all out. The thing is, our time is limited, and that's why I'm really every day feeling the rush. And I'm gonna tell you, after watching Birth of a Nation, I don't know about y'all, but as a black man, I walked out of that movie angry, sad, inspired, empowered, pressured, to do my best. I thought about, men like Nat Turner, who really had to really put some blood on the line. to make their point. Me, all I got to do is teach you economics. All I got to do is say some stuff that might make white folks mad. But they can't really hurt me like that. They might come and kill me one day, but that's okay. I'm not scared of none of that. But these men actually had to go and pull out weapons and go fight with weapons and draw blood and axes and hatchets and everything else. So if they could do all of that to create what you have right now, the least your ass can do is pick up a damn book. The least that we can do is go pool our money together and go build our own banks. The least we can do is make sure our children have a head start and that they're educated properly instead of being taught how to do all these stupid dances and memorize songs on the radio. I mean, that's the least we can do. The least we can do. They did the hard work. They made the big sacrifice. All we got to do is finish the job. And we can finish much of that job in this generation. So I implore you to do something. Do something with your children. Create a culture that is built on education, that's built on empowerment, that's built on love for black people, that's built on fighting, that's built on not being scared. Most of what you're scared of in your life ain't even real. That's what I learned. That's when I started learning how to get over fear, was I realized that 99% of what scared the hell out of me wasn't even real. I would go head to head with my worst nightmare, the thing that I've been scared of the most. And I'd be like, it wasn't that bad. I'm actually going to be okay. I quit my job. I was scared to death. And I realized that I was still okay. My fear was like, oh, man, this ain't going to work out. I'm going to be humiliated. I'm going to be begging these white people for a job. And then they're going to make fun of me because I was stupid. And I was okay. So what I'm saying to you is whatever you're afraid of, it's going to be okay. You're probably just afraid of something that's a figment of your imagination. So let's just do what we're supposed to do. I don't care about Hillary and Trump and all of that. That's fine. Vote for whoever you want to vote for. I don't care. But at the end of the day, I just need you to be strong and not be afraid. So anyway, guys, I'm about to go. Let me get back to work. I got my team hit me up. I think they need some information from me, and my phone just died, so I just went off of Facebook Live. But I love you guys and I appreciate you. And don't forget, if you want to check out the new class, Black Money 101, you can go to blackmoney101.com. Also, these podcasts are sponsored by theblacktoolshop.com. So if you want to shop for black goods, want to buy black, go to theblacktoolshop.com. I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Peace.